Hi,
Hi.
can you hear me fine?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you great. Hi, Caroline.
Hi, how are you, Alondra?
I'm doing really good. Okay, so thank you so much for allowing me to interview you today. And I received your consent form signed, so thank you very much for that. That was very helpful.
Perfect.
Um, so just to give you a little brief summary of what it is that I'm doing, I'm working on my thesis for my master's currently, and I decided to focus my thesis on implementing gamification strategies into nonprofit organizations due to the fact that a lot of them were really, really heavily and negatively impacted because of COVID-19. And so the hopes of implementing gamification is that they'll get more engagement, donations, and volunteers. So I hope that your answers are very useful to me and that you can learn something today as well. So let's get started. Any questions you have before or?
No, I'm ready.
Okay, awesome. Okay. So how often do you interact with nonprofit organizations in Los Angeles?
Um, I would say if I had to base it off of yearly, probably 2 to 3 times a year. I used to work for a nonprofit actually when I was in college at Pepperdine. So when I was working there, I was obviously interacting with them a lot. Um, I think I want to be interacting more with Los Angeles nonprofits. I think I just need to do more research on it too, because there are so many out there and so many ways to give back and so many different organizations that help so many different causes. But yeah, I would say probably 2 to 3 times a year.
That's great. So what nonprofit organizations have you donated to or volunteered at before? If you know the names or just what the organization was about.
Yeah, I used to work for the West Side Food Bank. It was actually an internship, and it was volunteer based because I didn't get paid for it, but I did get school credit. So yeah, that West Side Food Bank, and it served the west side of Los Angeles. And basically, what they did was they provided food to food pantries. So the food pantries are the ones that give the food to the people who are in need, or the people who need food go and they buy it from their and so they pick it up from there and so on and so forth. But the West Side Food Bank, what they do is they distribute it to those food pantries, and then they also collect monetary donations so that they can buy food, and also food donations as well so that they can provide that also to the food pantries. So that was the one that I really worked with most. And then I guess you can count Pepperdine too as a nonprofit. I mean, it is. So it's a nonprofit university. And yeah, basically with that, I would just, I had little on campus jobs like tutoring or what else did I do there? Let me think. Yeah, I think it was mostly tutoring with Pepperdine, but I definitely give back to Pepperdine as often as I can. So especially when the students call and are asking for donations, I always love to give back. And I particularly like to give back to the abroad program that I did, which was in Lausanne, Switzerland.
That's so cool. I actually used to volunteer for the first one you talked about when I was in high school. So that's pretty
Really?
cool.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that is cool.
Okay, so why did you choose to donate or volunteer those specific organizations?
So I got connected to the West Side Food Bank through one of my professors, and I just really loved the people. I fell in love with the cause and just the people, the way they ran the organization, and how much passion and compassion that they had for people and those in need. And truly, they were just some of the most giving and kind people to work with. So I'm lucky that I ended up helping out with them. And basically, why I choose Pepperdine is because I have a personal connection, and that's that I went to school there and I really learned a lot from Pepperdine. I've been given a lot of opportunities through Pepperdine University. So I, of course, want to give back, and I want to make sure that the students that are to come in the future years, the future classes that graduate from there, have the same opportunities and continue to have the same level of education that I did from Pepperdine. And yeah, so the West Side Food Bank, I just continue to work with them and give back to them as often as I can, just because I love them and I think that they have really great work ethic. And what they do, providing food, is such a necessity. And so without them, a lot of people would go unfed. And I think they just make a very, very big impact in Los Angeles.
That's awesome. You kind of answered this question already, but maybe for any other nonprofits that you've maybe volunteered at or donated at, how do you normally find out about these organizations? Is it like online, word of mouth, social media?
I definitely find out through word of mouth. I think that's the most powerful way that I find out because I always love to give back to things, especially that have helped my friends or people that I know. So I think another way would be social media. I haven't done too much through it, but definitely like through Facebook fundraisers and stuff like that, I find out about a lot of nonprofits and stuff like that. I'm a sucker for giving back to all things animals. So I recently gave back to somebody who was posting asking for donations for their dog, but if part of those donations also went to the Humane Society, I believe it was Chicago or maybe it was Cincinnati, Ohio, but yeah, definitely social media has impacted me a little bit and it helped me guide me to which nonprofits to give back to.
Oh, I love that. So, I mean, clearly you've donated and volunteered. So, what would you say motivates you to do so?
I think it's wonderful to be able to give back. I think the feeling you get after you've given back, whether it's money or time, it's really rewarding. And I think it's great to see like the difference that you make. And sometimes you don't see that difference automatically, but it's there. And definitely thinking about all the people that you're impacting and helping, or maybe it's not people, maybe it's animals, but I just think overall, um, it's just a very rewarding feeling to know that you've done something to help and like gone out of your way. And like it's easy to get caught up in our day to day and not think about how lucky we are to have the things we do, like food or clothes and stuff like that. So to be able to know that I'm helping and giving somebody something that is not just like a guarantee every day is really impactful. Does that answer the question?
No, definitely. Yeah. And I 100% agree. So, the next question is geared more towards the concept of gamification. So, I'm just curious if you are aware of what it is or have heard about it before.
Yes, I've definitely heard about it. We discussed it a little bit in one of my undergrad classes at Pepperdine, so know a little bit about it.
Okay, awesome. That's great. So, this is more of a personal question. So, would you say that you enjoy playing games just in life in general? And would you say that it could potentially motivate you to perform everyday tasks?
I definitely enjoy playing games. I love a good board game. I'm not super big on video games, but I do like to play games and sports and stuff. I think it definitely would motivate me to engage in things if there was a gaming aspect to whatever the task or um, event might be. I would definitely be more inclined because I'm very competitive. So anything with competition, I'm there for it.
Awesome. And would you say that when it came to like playing games, are you more of a someone who likes to play individually or in a group?
I definitely like to play in a group. So I played volleyball when I was in high school, and I think it was a lot more fun to share in the wins and even the losses with the group. So yeah, definitely more of a team player than just to play it individually. I think when I play individually, I get a little bit not discouraged, but yeah, it's just not as fun and not as motivated to keep up with it if it's just me. So, yeah, definitely more involved in things that are with a team.
No, that makes sense. So, do you think that potentially incorporating game-like features like points, badges, rewards would maybe encourage you to want to donate or volunteer more often?
I think so. I think whenever I get something back from an organization as recognition of my donations, I always think that's really great. Like even if it's like a thank you note or like a calendar for whatever it is, I think that's really cool. And then for the gaming aspect, yeah, I definitely think it would be cool also just to help me keep track of like how much I've given to an organization and like gotten to a certain level. I mean, we see all this stuff in like everything, like with our Starbucks app, Chick-fil-A, like those are the things I have like, you've gotten this many stars, this many, you're on the red level or whatever it is. So I think having that with nonprofits would be really fun and really cool, especially if like were competing with your friends to see who is going to raise more money or be more giving, you know, I think that would be really fun and cool.
I love that example with like Chick-fil-A and Starbucks. Hadn't thought of that, so I love that. Would you say that COVID-19 has affected the way that you interact with nonprofits?
Yeah, I definitely would say it has. I mean, I would love to volunteer more, and that's something that like after college that isn't as accessible maybe. I think at Pepperdine we were always doing things. There was always, you know, postings of people who needed help, like volunteers, stuff like that. And I have a little bit of that in the workplace, the opportunities to volunteer and such. But I think it's always so rewarding and fun when you go in person, when you help with a run, walk, or whatever it might be, like a fundraiser in person. It's always really fun because you get to meet other people who are volunteers or other people who work at the organization or even some of the people that the organization is helping. So I think because of like COVID-19 and everything that's happening this year, I think it definitely has affected my ability to give back to nonprofits or at least give my time. I feel like I've done a pretty good job of still donating. And now that I have like a job, a stable job that allows me to like have a stable income, it's easier for me to give money. Of course, like when we're going through college and we have like a lot of other expenses, if you're paying for your own housing, your tuition and books and stuff like that, or you just don't have a job because you're in class full time. I think definitely it's nice to be able to have that sense of disposable income that I can use and give back to different organizations that have either helped me or are helping people and causes that I'm very passionate about.
No, I absolutely agree. And then just final question. Would you say that you prefer donating your time or money or both, and why?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think I really like both because I think money is more of that instant gratification. I guess you could say you could just be like, wow, like I gave $20. That's amazing. Like you can really put a price on that. It obviously it's money. So I think that's something that's really cool for me to be like, wow, like I earned that money, but I was also like, you know, motivated enough to give that money back to somebody who might need it more. So I really do enjoy like giving money and I feel like that helps a lot. And I think it's really hard for nonprofits sometimes to get people to donate, especially like, you know, they have like their big donors and stuff like that who always give back $100,000 or whatever it is. But to get like an individual, a new person to donate, I think that is like very, very impactful and very important for nonprofits. But I also think that volunteering, like I said, is the most like gratifying thing because you can see it right then and there, and it's like your hard work and like, or you're making connection with the people that need the help, or whatever you're doing, you're making connections with these people that work, the volunteers or the people that actually are working for the organization. And it kind of motivates me to even come back or like dig deeper and go further with that organization. So yeah, I would say it's kind of split. I really enjoy doing both, and I'm grateful and that I've been able to do both within my lifetime. And I really am going to continue to do both. I love nonprofits, and I think they provide such an essential service to people everywhere. So it's really great to be able to give back in any way, shape, or form. And it's always great to see how grateful the organizations are and the people are for just, even if you give $5 or even $1, like people are so grateful for whatever you can give. And so that's, yeah, both ways. I love giving my time and my money.
No, that was super, super helpful. All your answers were great. So thank you so much, Caroline, for your time. And I really, really appreciate it. I don't know if you have any other questions or if you're all good.
No, I'm all good. Thank you so much for being so attentive, and it was great to have this conversation with you.
No, likewise. Well, thank you so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
Bye.